What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 45, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode is going to be my stardom sit-em week 2 for tight end positions, all matchups. I finally got all my content out before the Thursday night kickoff, so you guys can see all my rankings in my previous videos, all my stardom sit-ems. That is my goal this season as a content creator, to help you guys win your fantasy football leagues. Now, before we dive into it, guys, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Make sure you smash that subscription. Turn that bell on so you know when I'm live. I will be live today from 1 to 3 PST, going over start, sits, any questions you guys have, fantasy football, anything, always drop them in the comments. Either way, if you don't make the live stream, I'm here to help you guys win your leagues. And let's dive into the stardom sit-em, guys. So this is my board, guys. The top black box will be the away team. The bottom box will be the home team. Before we dive into tonight's game, I'm so happy there's football here tonight with the Bills and the Dolphins. I like to show you my work from last week so I can be transparent and be better for you guys. And man, this tight end week was tough, guys. All the superstars did nothing. I mean, the touchdowns went to Chigakonkwo, Foster, and Moreau. Like, Kyle Pitts found the end zone. It was just one of those weird weeks. I missed all 5 starts with Evan Ingram, Dallas Goedert, Fryer with Hunter Henry, and Dulcich. But I hit all 5 sits with Njoku, Schultz, Conklin, Musgrave, and Fant because every tight end did nothing in week 1. So I'm going to try and be better here in this week. I hope the tight ends bounce back. I mean, God, it was probably one of the worst tight end weeks in fantasy football history, literally. So heading into the Dolphins game here, Dalton Kincaid, man. I don't know what happened in week 1. I thought that he would be the focal point of this offense. He did play 84% of the snaps. He only saw 2 targets and 1 catch. Now, last year when he played the Dolphins, he lit him up for 7 for 83. I expect a big game here, but what scares me is the Dolphins just locked up Evan Ingram to nothing last week. The Dolphins are usually weak versus the tight end. I don't know what, it was like an anomaly or they focused on Ingram, but I saw Ramsey on BTJ, so it wasn't like they focused on him and they still shut it down. I expect this to be a high-scoring shootout game. And I'm starting Dalton Kincaid with confidence. And Dawson Knox can be like, if you're in a deep league, you want a DFS play tonight, you can throw him in there. He saw the same thing, 2 targets as Dalton Kincaid, nothing special. Jonnu Smith, man, I'm tired of talking about tight ends for the Miami Dolphins. This guy's way more athletic. Durham Smythe is out there. He sees more targets. Jonnu Smith played 28% of the snaps. I mean, dude, I'm not starting this guy. He can be dropped to your waiver wire at this point. The Raiders and rookie Brock Bowers are headed to the Baltimore Ravens. And this game for Brock Bowers, so here's what's interesting. He played 66% of the snaps. Michael Mayer played 57% of the snaps. They had a lot of 12 personnel out there, which is a 2 tight end set, which you like and you don't like. But Brock Bowers' situation last week, he popped off in garbage time. Now, do I think that this could happen again here against the Ravens? Yes, this is going to be a smash Brock Bowers game here. The only thing that would worry me is if the Ravens try to pound the run and own time of possession and plays by just using Henry if they get a big lead. I'm gonna say the Raiders keep it close to the normal, but I think Brock Bowers is going to be an absolute smash play this week. Even though the Ravens locked up Travis Kelce last week, they bracketed Travis Kelce. They're not going to do that for Brock Bowers. Heading out of the Ravens side, I like to take that top 10 bold sit-em call, guys. If you follow my content, you know I do this all the time. So Mark Andrews is going to remind people that he's Mark Andrews. You should have been out buying low right now on Mark Andrews 100%. Isaiah Likely's numbers are not going to be skewed like this, guys. The Chiefs 100% bracketed Andrews all over the field. And Likely only played 66% of snaps and had massive production. He could have had another touchdown at the end of the game. Could have been like a 33-point game, and he could have been tight end 1 for like 5 weeks if he got that touchdown with how the points went last week. So this is a revenge Mark Andrews pissed off week 1 game here, and Isaiah Likely is going to be under projection, and everyone that wasted their fab is going to feel really, really bad after week 1. And it's just one of these calls. I know the Raiders are really good versus the tight end, and I think it's going to be the Mark Andrews game where they just feast him this game. Feed. The Cincinnati Bengals are headed in to Arrowhead, and Mike Gesicki, I'm not going to put as a start, but man, he was more impressive last week than I thought. If you watched the game or saw any of the highlights, he did have a touchdown called back with a very good acrobatic catch. This could be a pass-heavy game. So when I'm saying sit him, like basically like when you have, top 15 tight end talent, you play it over him. But if you're looking for like a deep DFS dart throw play here, if T. Higgins is not going to be out there, which looks like, again, I don't know what's going on with T. Higgins. I don't know if he's faking this or if it's real. It's very, very concerning. But if he's not out there, they're going to start running, Jermaine Burton more. Mike Gesicki could get more involved here and be a decent like dart throw weekly play that you need. On to the Travis Kelce side, this is going to be just like Mark Andrews. You stopped the Hall of Famers in week 1. Now they're going to come back and show you exactly why they are who they are. Travis Kelce is going to absolutely feast. This Bengals defense is absolutely terrible. And it's not going to be like the Patriots game. They're going to be out on the field all the time. It's going to be tired and worn out. It's going to be, Travis Kelce is going to be eating this game. The Indianapolis Colts are headed in to Green Bay, the Jordan Loveless Packers. But we don't know. There's now an update that says the door is open for Jordan Love to play this game, which would be absolutely bonkers to me. I don't think he's going to be out there after that knee injury we saw. But this is the Sea of Red game, guys. You don't want anything here. It's not even going to take that long to talk about. Kylan Granson, split snaps, Mo Ali Cox. I would have loved to see Jelani Woods not get hurt for one time and see what he looked like this offense. And now you get Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave with Malik Willis if he's out there. Now, if Jordan Love is out there, right, let's say he is, I would put Tucker Kraft in yellow. So let's, cover that basis at least. But if Malik Willis is out there, dude, every Packer is just going to take an absolute downfall. I mean, you're preying on one of them finding the end zone, which is just unlikely in this game. Monday Night Football. The Falcons are headed to Philly, and you're going to get a bold call here from me, which I'll get to in a minute. But Kyle Pitts, guys, this is just absolutely written on the board that he's going to break out this year. People just aren't buying it because of a week 1 game against the Steelers defense, which is probably the best defense in football. Now, Kyle Pitts still found the end zone on a busted play, but what you also have to look at is Kyle Pitts also had a 45-yard catch down the sideline called back for a terrible catch. And the number one thing you have to like in fantasy football, he played 96% of the snaps. This man was out there all game. And now you get the Philly secondary, who is very weak. I know even Tucker Kraft had a decent little, shit game against the Philly, if you want to put it that way, on a terrible field. So I'd take the stats down a little bit from last week because that field was awful to look at, even though Saquon Barkley erupted. Now, when I go to Dallas Goedert's side, he is one of my sit-em tight ends that you will see come week 3, and I will show my projections on all that. And why I have him on a sit-em is because this Atlanta Falcons defense is good, guys. Look what happened to Pat Freiermuth. He was supposed to be a smash start last week with Justin Fields. He targets his tight end. Dude, Judon and them locked him up. Simmons, they were out there rumbling. This defense is going to be good. Now, he did play 86% of the snaps. Kellen Moore's offense, he was a little more involved. He saw 5 targets, which you have to like. I just don't like Dallas Goedert in this game, but I think he was a very, very underrated drafted tight end in this fantasy draft this season. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Justin Field-led 1-0 Steel Curtain defense is headed into Mile High City against the Denver Broncos. And I learned something already in fantasy football in 1 week, guys. So I'm going to start with the Broncos first here at home. I did have Greg Dulcich on a stardom last week. I thought that they'd, playing from behind, they'd be there and he'd see a lot of volume. What I've learned already from watching the Steelers defense, and I watched this game like with the replays on it, is this defense is probably the best defense in the league. And if you play fantasy football right now and you're listening to this video right now, get all of your Broncos out. I had Javonte Williams on a sit last week and people panicked on it. This team is terrible. And the Steelers defense is going to just absolutely chew these guys up. Now, heading to the Pat Freiermuth side, I'm going to go one more time with a start him here, and I'm going to break down why. The Denver Broncos have an absolute shutdown, probably the second best corner in football in Pat Surtain. George Pickens is in for a nightmare. They are going to pound the run. They probably get a lead here, and they pound the run a lot. But Pat Freiermuth should see 6-7 targets of volume here and a possible chance to fall into the end zone. And I like this start a lot because I think he's going to be the number 1 option this week in the passing game. The shootout game between 2 of the bottom of the barrel defenses is here, guys, and this is going to be a smash start everywhere in this game. The Cardinals are at home versus the Rams. Finally, Kyler Murray headed back home. Now, one of my major top 5 stardom tight ends is right here, guys, in Colby Parkinson. 8 points last week, played 86% of the snaps. And now you have Puka Nacua out. Demarcus Robinson will probably step up, maybe Little Witt, maybe Tyler Johnson. But Colby Parkinson's is going to be out there 90% of the time with a defense that can't stop anybody. Statistically, they can't, but they played very well against Detroit week 1. I'll give them that. That was an insanely coached game by McVay. Unbelievable. Now, heading to the, you still got Tyler Higbee on IR. Heading to the Cardinal side, this is it. This is the T85 Terminator Trey McBride game right here. He did see the second most targets at the tight end position last week with 9 to Isaiah Likely's 12. But, man, this man is so big. He's going to absolutely feast in this game. This is a 20-point Trey McBride game coming, and you're starting him every single week. Another sea of red game here, guys. The Titans get the Jets at home this week. I know Chig found the end zone on an acrobatic catch. I'm not starting Chigakonkwo. I'm not starting Tyler Conklin in this game. I feel like the Jets got taken out of the game against the 49ers. The offense was not on the field at all. The 49ers doubled the possession. They doubled the plays. The Titans are not going to be able to do that. They're not Shanahan. They do not have those weapons. This is going to be a Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, absolute feast game here with so many opportunities. And Will Levis really struggled, and Will Levis is really going to struggle again. The Jets defense was on the field so much that they got a bad rep versus the Niners. That is going to change versus the Titans. Now, if I'm looking at like a DFS play here, maybe I throw them in for cheap. But if we're talking fantasy football, I'm not putting these guys in my starting lineup. Sunday Night Football, Caleb Williams is headed to the Houston Texans. And, man, you got to look at the stats here on this. And this is going to trip you out, right? Caleb Williams, in his first game, targeted the wide receivers at an 88% rate. This is going to be another sea of red game. Cole Kmet was even out there with Gerald Everett splitting. You don't like that at all. Cole Kmet has been dropped to waiver wires in like 3 of my leagues. You're not excited to play this guy if he's starting to be dropped to the waiver wire because no one else is as well. Now, Dalton Schultz, I had on a sit last week. That was a hit. But again, tight ends were terrible last week all around as a whole. Now you're playing the Chicago Bears defense that is absolutely nasty. I do not like Dalton Schultz at all in this game. The Mike McDonald Seahawks 1-0 are headed into Foxborough to take on the Patriots. And the Gerard Mayo and the Patriots are 1-0, guys. Congrats to the Patriots. I missed that by a mile. Now, looking at this game, I don't want anything to do with Noah Fant in this game. The Patriots defense is better than we thought. But you got to look at this here as well. So, Hunter Henry. I had Hunter Henry as a smash start last week. I missed on that. But the game script favored the Patriots running the ball so much with how the Bengals turned it over and over. Kickoff, punt return, at the 1-yard line. So it became the Ramondre Stevenson show with 28 touches, or I think 25 touches, or 26, I don't know what it was, 24 carries, 3 catches, something like that. So they had to use time of possession. They didn't even have to pass. This game, when they are down against Seattle, which I firmly believe they will be down, this new Seattle defense looks a lot better than people thought. Their secondary is nasty, but they're weak against the tight end. And this could be, which is why I wanted to start Greg Dulcich last week, but the Broncos were just so bad. Now, this could be the Hunter Henry focal point game here, and he should be a smash start here. But again, the tight end position was so weird last week that I'm hoping this hits this week because I'd like to see Hunter Henry get the volume I think he deserves, which is the $30 million contract. The Deshaun Watson Cleveland Browns are headed into Jacksonville, and this is a must-win game or things are going to get real ugly for Stefanski and the Browns and Deshaun Watson, man. So we know Njoku went down with the injury. Prayers up to him. Looks like it'll only be like 1 to 2 weeks right now. But, so here's the interesting part about this. So Jordan Akins, guys, is interesting. I'm not like saying smash start this guy, but it is interesting, right? So Njoku got hurt in the second quarter, or like late second quarter, and Akins came in, still saw 4 targets and 27 yards. If you looked at the tight end room, that would like put him at like tight end 15 with how bad the points were. Now you're going to get a full game of him. And Jacksonville, obviously, Durham Smythe and Johnny Smith from week 1 were irrelevant in tight end. So I'm not like it's a smash start, but it is a sleeper kind of sneak DFS play that I've used in a couple lineups I have with Jordan Akins because I think he can see volume in this game. Headed to the Evan Ingram side. The ramp-up game is done. He got shut down week 1. He is going to be back this week. I am not going to sit there and say that Evan Ingram is not going to be good. I have him as like my tight end 3 on the year. This man is going to bounce back. This is going to be the game where he does. And this is like a must-win game for both teams. No one wants to go 0-2. So this is a very, very big game. I'm very interested to watch this. And I can't figure out if it's the Browns offense was just terrible or the Cowboys defense was that good. And then when I watched Jacksonville play Miami, Jacksonville's defense really impressed me. So this is going to be one of those games I definitely have my eye on, but I do like Evan Ingram as a smash start this week. Another sea of red game. The Chargers are headed into the Panthers, and the Panthers are in for some trouble, guys. But at least we got a little bit of clarity here. So Hayden Hurst out-snapped Will Dissly, also out-targeted him 3-1. But I still don't like either one of these guys as a start. Maybe, they're going to be splitting, 68-50 or 68-42 snaps, 55-45 all season long. So you're not going to really ever want to like to start these guys. And on the Tavion Sanders side, man, it's exactly what I said earlier in my videos is going to happen. I love this guy coming out of Texas. I was super high on him. The landing spot is killer here, guys. When you're with Dave Canales, for some reason, the tight end position runs the most snaps in the NFL, and they just don't do anything. So, you can even go back and look at Cade Otton last year. The number one most used tight end, Dave Canales was the offensive coordinator. And what did Cade Otton do last year? Nothing. We're in for the same thing here. It's going to be a nightmare with Jatavion Sanders. I'm not starting any tight end in this game. Interesting game here to pay attention to is the Saints heading into Jerry's world. Now, last week, if you're one of those Taysom Hill people, I told you sit Taysom Hill. Sit him again. I don't trust the Joker play of I'm going to get 0 3 points or 20 points. I know all the tight ends did bad, so you really didn't miss out week 1 by benching him or starting him. But it hurt when you got 3 points, right? Jawan Johnson found the end zone somehow in a miracle touchdown play. I don't like Jawan Johnson to start either. But you get the Cowboys defense also, who looked ridiculous. But Njoku was kind of eating. So there is a little, possibility of a play here. I just don't like it at all against the Cowboys at home. Now, Jake Ferguson takes that knee hit. Everyone thinks he's about to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. And all of a sudden you get the update of might play week 2. And today he's rehabbing limited. If Jake Ferguson is out there, 100% you're starting Jake Ferguson even off the injury. He saw 5 targets within the first quarter and a half, which shows you that him and CeeDee Lamb are going to be the focal points. And the Saints are very weak versus the tight end guys. They're strong up front, strong at the corners. This is their weak spot. Jake Ferguson will absolutely feast. But something to pay attention to here. I don't have his name on the board. If Jake Ferguson sits in this game, I'm going to say that Luke Schoonmaker is going to outplay his projection this week if Jake Ferguson misses. The 49ers are headed into the Minnesota Vikings, who are 1-0. They beat the abysmal New York Giants, so give the Vikings credit. Cheers up to their week 1 win. It's going to be rough this week, guys. Now, George Kittle, obviously you're going to start George Kittle with how the Titans went week 1 either way, but I almost took a bold stance here on Kittle because I firmly believe the Niners are going to get ahead here like they did against the Jets, and you're going to see the Jordan Mason, or if CMC's possibly out there. I think they save CMC down the stretch either way, but you're going to see a time of possession game here where the Niners outplay them by plays just like the Jets. Shanahan looks like that's how he wants to coach the beginning of the season, and goddamn, it looked good. And that's what worries me here with Kittle. Like, if he doesn't get a touchdown here in the first 2 quarters, his volume is really going to be shot in the second half. But you're still starting this man with the tight end layout, how it's played out so far. Now, for the Vikings side, we know TJ Hawkins is still on the pup. Looks like week 7 or 8 return for him right now. Josh Oliver, 2 targets, Munt, 3 targets. I'm not starting any of the Vikings, especially versus the 49ers. Did you just see what Tyler Conklin did? Nothing till the very last play of the game. So I'm not starting any of the Vikings anytime soon. The oofda game of the week is here. The Giants are headed to the Commanders. Division rivalry. Oh my God, Danny Dimes, man. I've already said enough of it in my previous videos about Danny Dimes. I can't stand it. Now, for Theo Johnson, this was kind of an insightful game for Theo Johnson. Saw 4 targets. Looks like he's taking the job from Bellinger, right? Didn't do much with it, 18 yards, right? But it's his first game as a rookie. You're in the Giants offense. But you also have Darius Slayton, who looks banged up. I'm not saying that's going to open up a ton of targets for Theo Johnson. But you get the Commanders defense here. The Commanders just got absolutely torched by the Bucs. Baker was QB2. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are both in the top 15. This could be a game if Danny Dimes could complete a pass and hit him on the money. I could even see him fall in the end zone this game. I don't like him as a smash start. I'm not saying sit him. I'm saying he's one of my deep, possible stash starts here because the matchup is great. Now, heading to the Zach Ertz side, man, I'm just baffled. Like, I saw Ben Sinnott. I saw all I needed to see with Ben Sinnott when he was out there. And I guess the Commanders just didn't see it, and they didn't even play him at all. And they want to use the 36-year-old Zach Ertz. And Zach Ertz still saw 4 targets. And again, he's going to be on my stardom list this week. This is a game where Zach Ertz is going to feast, and he's going to see 6-7 targets in this game. I really want to see Sanat out there so bad. It drives me absolutely nuts that he's not. But we got Zach for now. And if you have a tight end, say, you lost in Njoku, right? I'm down to start Zach Ertz off the wire if that's your situation you're in. Last but not least, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are headed to the Detroit Lions. Now, this one is interesting to me here, guys, because I feel like this is going to be a Chris Godwin, Cade Otton game. And it's not like I'm saying smash start here with Cade Otton. I'm not going to say sit him either, right? Because look at last week. Colby Parkinson still had 5 targets and 47 yards against the Lions defense. And you could say Puka Nacua was out. Yeah, but Puka Nacua got hurt late in the first quarter. So missed 3/4 of the game. I just have this weird feeling that this could be a Cade Otton game in this game. And if I'm looking at the Lions side, Sam Laporta, good Lord, he's going to feast against this Tampa defense. He is my tight end 2 on the week behind Trey McBride, and an absolute smash start every single week. If you paid the price to, an ADP of your draft to get him, you're starting this guy every week. That is it for episode 45, everybody. That is my stardom, situm, tight ends for week 2. That is all my content on the week for rankings and stardom setups. Tomorrow, I will be doing a bounce back player video to do a little something different on Friday I didn't do last week. If you guys are new in here, make sure you smash that like, smash that subscription button. All the support's been appreciated. Turn that bell on. I will be live here in 2 hours, guys, and I'll be going over stardom, situm here. Thank you for all the people listening on Spotify, on Apple as well. All the support has been amazing there. I can't thank you guys enough, and I will catch you guys in the live stream if you're in there in 2 hours, guys. SleezBall out.